Today, we're going to dig into a really old fable that has this surprisingly powerful message about something we deal with every single day: trust. So let's just jump right in with a question. You know that person who's super adaptable, right? They can change their mind, their feelings, just like that. And on the surface, that seems like a real strength. But have you ever gotten that weird gut feeling about them? Like, can I actually trust this person? Well, that paradox is exactly what we're going to unpack today. And that weird feeling, that little knot in your stomach, it leads us right here to this idea of a confusing contradiction. I mean, we've all been there. It's the person who's your biggest cheerleader one minute, and then suddenly they're your harshest critic the next. It's so confusing, and it does more than just throw you off balance. It makes you step back and ask, wait a minute, who are you really? Well, it turns out this very modern problem was captured perfectly thousands of years ago. So let's look at this ancient fable for a warning that is, believe me, as sharp today as it was back then. So our story starts in a forest, where a man, who kind of represents all of us, our human complexity, strikes up a friendship with a satyr. Now, satyrs, in these old stories, they're creatures of nature. They're all about simplicity, honesty, what you see is what you get, no hidden layers. In these two, they become the best of friends. Okay, so picture this: it's a freezing cold day, and the satyr sees the man blowing into his hands. He's curious, so he asks, "Hey, why are you doing that?" And the man's answer is totally logical: to warm them up. Simple enough, right? Makes perfect sense. But then they get back to the man's place, and he serves up some steaming hot porridge. And the satyr sees the man doing the exact same thing, blowing, but now he's blowing on the hot food. The satyr is just completely baffled. He asks, "Okay, why are you doing that now?" And the man says, just as matter-of-factly, "Oh, to cool it down." And this is where everything shatters. The satyr just jumps up. He doesn't want an explanation about physics. He just looks at the man and says, "Nope, I've seen enough. A person who can blow hot and cold with the same breath, you can't be a friend of mine." And just like that, he walks out, and the friendship is over. Done. So, what just happened? Why would he react like that? It seems so extreme. Well, this gets us to the absolute heart of the fable: the massive cost of being inconsistent. See, the really fascinating thing here is that the satyr wasn't confused about how breath can warm or cool things. He got it. His rejection wasn't about the science. It was about something way, way deeper. For him, this was a catastrophic failure of trust. Let's just break down these two clashing worldviews. For the man, it's all about logic and efficiency. Hey, I've got one tool, my breath, and I can use it for two opposite jobs. Smart, right? But for the satyr, his truth is much simpler. If a single thing can mean both warm and cold, then it has no real nature. It can't be relied upon. It's fundamentally untrustworthy. And believe it or not, this little story is where we get the phrase blowing hot and cold. It perfectly describes what happens when someone's inconsistency is so jarring it feels like they're being two-faced, and it just demolishes the very bedrock of trust. Okay, so this isn't just some dusty old tale. This exact dynamic plays out all around us every single day. So let's bring this fable right into the modern world, into your life. Think about it at home. The partner who is so warm and loving one day, and then the next, they're just cold, distant, critical, for no reason you can see. Their actions contradict each other. And just like the satyr, you're left feeling like you can't rely on their affection. You start to question if it's even real. Or what about with friends? The friend who's like, "Yeah, go for it, chase that dream, be ambitious." And then a week later says, "I don't know, that seems risky. Maybe you should play it safe." Even if they mean well both times, that contradiction chips away at your faith in them. Whose side are they on? And oh man, at work? This one's a classic. The boss who sings your praises in the big team meeting, that's them blowing hot. But then, in your one-on-one, they tear your work apart. That's them blowing cold. Suddenly, all that public praise feels completely hollow, doesn't it? It feels like a performance, not real support. So why do we do this? Well, we fall into these traps. We think, oh, they'll understand the context. They'll get why I'm changing my tune. We completely forget that trust isn't built on complex explanations. It's built on simple, reliable actions, over and over again. And we let our cleverness, our complexity, look like straight-up deception to other people. So seeing the problem is the first step. But the great thing about this fable is that it also points us toward a better way. It's about consciously choosing a path. If you only remember one thing from our time together today, make it this: The most dangerous thing you can discover about someone you trust isn't that they have flaws, it's that they have no fixed nature, no solid core, that they can truly be two opposite things at once. So, what's the solution? It's right here, a deep commitment to consistency. It means making sure your words and your actions all line up with a single, clear principle. It means speaking with one voice, not changing your story depending on who's in the room, and it means choosing simple, honest transparency over that complicated ambiguity that might make you feel smart, but in the end, just makes you untrustworthy. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be flexible, to be adaptable, but this ancient story is asking us to pause and consider a different kind of value. In your life, with the people who matter, what's actually more valuable? The clever ability to change your temperature whenever you want, or the simple, unwavering commitment to one?